All right, and so that continues us on with the preliminary card. We got a great prelim card here. I'm pretty excited about some of these fights. So up next, we got a welterweight bout between Gabe Green and Philip Rowe. So Gabe Green, he comes in with a 9-3 record. He was just rolling coming into the UFC, and he did make his debut last year. He did fall short in that one, losing to Daniel Rodriguez via decision, and that was back in May. So he's going to be looking forward to bouncing back from that one. On the flip side, we got Philip Rowe, or as I like to refer to him as the Fresh Prince. Another dude that we highlighted on our prospect video. So again, if you haven't checked that out, make sure you check that out. He does come in at number 7 on that list. He has a 7-2 record, and he literally had 3 canceled bouts in 2020. So we're really looking forward to seeing him make his UFC debut. Like we said, he's ranked number 7 on that list, and a win in this one would really shoot him up those rankings for sure.
So funny enough, Pies, it's actually spooky story time. I gave him a little preamble prior to this and told him that, despite him maybe not having too much excitement, despite us covering it on the Prospect Watch, that maybe this is a fight I can maybe get him a little excited about. So, we did go into Rowe a little bit in the 3 canceled fights in 2020. Even Paisan had a bit of a take on that. And that's why we did kind of rank him a little low based on the list that was provided us over at MSUck. If you haven't checked that video out, please go check it out. And the write-up over there done by Jeremy Brand, MMAsucker.com. Go check them out as well. He's kind of chinny, right? So let's go back to the Dana White Contender Series first. He was a little chinny in that fight, got rocked in the first round, dropped, but came back nicely, got his feet under him, and really started landing some big blows. The big thing about that was you saw the confidence, right? So when he is able to get his confidence under his feet, I think he's able to kind of dictate his game plan, get things to where he needs it to be. You know what my problem is? The more I dive into him, especially as we look at a guy like Gabriel Green, who I think you're going to love this story. I know you are. So there's a little bit of a moment here coming. It's like a comedian punchline, but in our show type of way. He has a 7-13 combined opponent record. So all the guys that he's fought in those fights, they've combined for 7-13 record. So when you look at how much, history he really has in MMA, that's actually kind of a big red flag, if you ask me. And he did his, UFC fight, his Dana White Contender Series fight against Leon Shabazian. So when you look at Leon Shabazian's only career loss prior to that, you know who it was? Gabriel Green.
No way.
Isn't that amazing? So you can't make these things up. So, Gabriel Green, you mentioned his debut against Rodriguez, but Rodriguez is a phenomenal fighter, and Green took that fight on less than a week notice, and his first fight since 2018. So I feel like that was a lot of him just, let me just get in there, get my feet wet, see what happens, and here we go. But prior to that, he was a CXC catchweight champion at 160, before 2018. So, I feel like when I look at his record, I'm getting more and more convinced of being when you do fight, you do take on pretty quality opponents. You've shown that you can really, really compete at a pretty high level. I mean, I didn't like the speed of the way he attacks even in early rounds. I felt like by the second round, even in his wins, his opponents kind of falter pretty quickly, but he did look a little gassy, you know what I mean? And I just think that that's something where if we look at the way Rowe looked in rounds 2 and 3, given how he looked in round 1, I can't help but feel there's something to be said about that. So for me, those are the kind of things that just stand out. But I really do love the fact that, the guy who he made his name against on the Dana White Contender Series turned out to only have 1 loss against the man he's fighting on UFC 258.
This world, man, it really comes full circle at all times, man. It's so crazy to see. So, let's dive right into the lines here. Who do you see as being the favorite here?
Yeah, I got to go with Rowe. I just think that if you look at the way Vegas lines work and you just look at what Green's put together, he's not screaming, pick me, pick me, pick me. So I really do have to feel like Rowe is the favorite. But again, I can't put him very high. I refuse. And this is where you're going to follow up questions and maybe you'll blow my mind, but I'm going to go with Rowe minus 180.
Oh man, you were headed right down the perfect path, man. It was right there. It's actually a pick'em. There is no favorite here. Yeah, okay. Minus 110 on each side. And that's kind of the vibe I was getting from your analysis as well. So
Wow, Pies. I'm loving that. I'm loving that. That's
Yeah, absolutely. And honestly, it's probably a loaded question here, but are you leaning either way? This is going to be the closest fight probably on the card, but are you leaning either way?
Frankly, I think this is a classic fight of where we might even see a bit more going into the fight. Like, let's remember that this is also pay-per-view, so the cameras are following people a little bit more. Maybe not the guys who are fighting first or second on the card, but I mean, I do think that there's a bit more attempt at having some coverage. So whether it's the weigh-ins or anything like that, I just think we need to keep our eyes open for what we see leading into this fight. But like, when you look at it on paper, I mean, it really does sound like that, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tight one for sure. I can't wait to watch it. And stay tuned. If we do end up taking anything, we'll be sure to post it. That was a true treat. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button if you haven't already done so. Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff is down there. Give us a follow. Pics will be on there. Always a treat with you, Mr. Sukuman.
My man, Mr. Paisan.
We'll see you guys soon, man.